in the bottom right, in the blue, from Korea, he is
Gosu Crew, Dark.
And in the upper left, in the red, from Poland, he is
Ego Esports, Elazer.
Alrighty, Nick. Maybe you were onto something after all. Maybe this is going to be the series of
I'm from the future, man. By the way, Dark is not opening up with a quick pull at all. And Elazer is also going to open up with a quick hatchery. So we're going to have a very different tempo of a game here from these two guys. No, at least for now, no all-in, no big rush.
Obviously, this is a pretty big map. In general, players like to macro up here a little bit more. It's very easy to get the 3-base economy going. And I think it has a lot to do with the way that Game 1 played out as well, right? If Dark just did his usual thing, where he gets a very quick 1-0, that's often where his opponents start getting a little bit intimidated. They start making more mistakes and errors, and they start playing overly safe, or actually they want to suddenly start being greedy. But this time, it didn't work out. And I think for just us as neutral spectators, it's really good that that didn't work. Otherwise, I was afraid that we're going to see a very one-sided 3-0 victory for Dark. And now suddenly I really feel like, all right, we've got a series on our hands, because Dark, you're going to have to work for it. You can't just pop this nerd in the way you used to do it.
I think especially because it's Dark, and because Dark was one of the players that was pretty blunt about where he thought the non-Koreans were. That's a really rough way to take the first game in a best of 5, especially when he's the team captain of GSL versus the world on the Korea side of things. So already a very cool start to our show.
Yep, in this very same studio, in the same tournament. I think he did similar builds against Nerdshow last year, or it was the year before. I don't even remember. It always goes so fast. There's so many games of StarCraft 2, but basically it was just aggression, and that's it. We had a couple of 3 or 4 minute games. Dark clearly trying to get the same pace going. This time it's not working, and like I said, for us neutral spectators, this is really the best thing we could have hoped for, because of course Dark is the favorite here. Of course Dark is the better player here, but we want to see a close and competitive series. And I think with the way that that first game played out, we're going to get that.
Yeah, and I think Game 2 is going to be even more important to see what kind of shape Dark is, because when you look back at that Game 1, I think the idea was good, but the execution did not seem to be as practiced there. I mean, you basically never would want to put that spine there. So let's see what happens this time around. We do have Dark going for a Baneling's Nest.
Yep, and I think it's obviously worth mentioning that Elazer went very quick 3 bases here and actually delayed his gas. So he's got 0 gas income at all. That means there's going to be very late circling speed. There's going to be a very late defensive Baneling Nest. But, like I said before, on Thunderbird, there is only one way to enter the first 3 bases, and that's via this ramp at first, if you don't take away those minerals. That's a lot of circlings on the way for Dark. But I really feel Elazer, if you're doing a build like this, on a map like this greedy against an opponent that's that aggressive, he should have a way normally to deal with this, but he needs a wall off and he needs spine crawlers.
Okay, well, we're getting that wall off set up now.
Spine.
But he's going to need more than that. Now, this many Lings already coming forward, and Dark has not made a single drone since he started making Zerglings.
Elazer really has to stop building drones. Take a look at that production tab. It's super important that he starts getting a spine off and a full wall off, because he has nothing yet, Tasteless. He's got absolutely nothing.
Okay. We're getting the full wall in there. There's the Spore. I guess to sandbag that out as much as possible. Anything to buy a little bit of time. Anything to get some extra queen hits on those Zerglings.
But I mean, the Banelings are going to be able to blow up that Spore Crawler, though. It's very important that he can re-wall behind it. This is going to be so close. I'm surprised that he didn't want to go for the spine. He's just waiting for that Roach Point to finish up.
Okay, and as you can see, the Lings are beginning to come in. They have not actually completely breached through here. Is there actually enough, though, to continue to do damage on these queens?
I mean, it's taking a long time, right? The longer this takes, the better it is for Elazer. He's got a lot of roaches on the way. The queens are low. Really good transfusions there.
Oh, and actually, I got to say, this was really beautiful control overall here. In fact, one of those Banelings connecting with those 2 drones. The queens have been alive for a very long period of time, but finally, the Lings are going to be able to spill in as these roaches spawn out.
Yeah, but these Lings need to pick off a lot of drones, though, Tasteless. I'm talking at least 10 to 15, I think. It's going to try to re-wall there, but that was prevented at first. 6 drones going down. But I actually think Elazer is still sort of alright as long as he can prevent losing additional workers from this point on.
Yeah, that's the big question is how many workers are going to stay alive. You can trade armies into each other all you want. I mean, Dark was the one that made the economic sacrifice to make an attack like this happen as these Lings come in. A few more drones tilled off. We have 9 kills total, but I think Elazer is going to have to lose a little bit more drones for Dark to be comfortable with his position here.
Yeah, there is a lot of links still out on the map. The only thing is now for Elazer as well is that he's kind of stuck too, right? He's stuck on his 3 bases. Now, one thing that Elazer could potentially go for is maybe a Nidus attack on tier 2, because he knows that he has way more roaches out. It's just hard to get the roaches to the other side of the map, unless you would go for one of those Nidus
I
plays.
totally agree, as he's barricaded himself in here and is definitely afraid of Ling counterattacks, which start to do damage much more quickly than a big roach counterattack across the map. Now, that Ling did scout in there, and see that there's a layer coming. So that may give him the suspicion of this being a possibility. We don't really know.
Yep, but I think this is one of those things where even if Dark knows, what can he really do about it? Unless he can just shut them down before they ever pop. But it's really hard to have vision everywhere. There is going to be a second carapace upgrade as well, though, for Elazer. So maybe he's just going to macro his way out of this. I think every decision that Elazer makes from here is good, as long as he keeps scouting and he knows that Dark is not going for, let's say, very quick mutas, which is a very big possibility as well, because I don't know how eager Dark is to play straight roaches from this point on, because, yeah, you know, he just has way less to work with.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about the situation as far as workers goes is they're even, but the army supplies are hugely different. I mean, Elazer has much more, and roaches, in the grand scheme of things, at least for this phase of the game, are pretty basically better units if it comes to a fight with the 2 sides.
It would make so much sense to me to see Dark build a Spire. Yeah, there we go.
There it is. And I think this is a smart move, because if he can come across the map and actually blindside Elazer and basically mute the utility of these roaches by actually killing off all the workers and also being able to control the map, that would be a great way for Dark to win this game.
Well, this scout is very important, Tasteless. Let's see if this Overseer of Elazer can see everything it needs
Where's
to
the
see.
Spire placed?
On the left bottom side of the mineral base here, on the left side of our screen.
Okay, good scout. Spire about halfway done.
So do you attack now? Do you Nidus? Do you just macro your way out of this? I don't know if you really want to play like a super long ZVZ against Dark. Like, I think Elazer is strong enough to survive until the mid game. Look at how the amount of roaches that were just produced. I think Elazer is going to go for it. He's just going to rally everything to the other side of the map.
And we actually have 6 spine crawlers coming down here now. I'm really making me wonder about that Nidus, if that would have just been a better decision to try to come in at that moment. But instead, Elazer is going to be taking a 4th base and sending roaches of his across the map.
Yeah, I mean, he does have 68 drones already, so obviously it doesn't hurt Elazer's economy. Okay, he is mining out these units or these mineral patches rather in the middle of the map, so he's really gonna go for it. It would be so cool if he had like 2 more drones on the left side mining out those minerals as well near Dark Space. We see tunneling claws, about 11 mutas out already, or at least 11 mutas on the way. Can you boss this? I mean, that's a lot of roaches, but that's a lot of spine crawlers as well, Tasteless.
Yeah, this bottlenecked area seems to be almost impossible to ever break into. In fact, that would really be the dream there for Dark, for Elazer to try to push through there. So these roaches are going to return home now. Even though Elazer is going to have an additional base, we don't know how much damage he's going to take from these mutalisks yet. That's the big question.
Yeah, he had plenty of time to prepare for it, and the one good thing that Elazer did accomplish, I want to say, with this roach move out, is that he forced out 7 spine crawlers, right? And that means that obviously Dark's economy is truly hurting. Dark getting a cancel on this 4th base would be massive, though. Oh no, Elazer, that was not supposed to happen. That's not even a cancel, that's a straight up kill.
Yeah. Yep. I have to say, I think we're seeing why Dark is considered a better player in a longer ZVZ, and I know this isn't exactly the longest ZVZ we've seen. It's a pretty short one so far, but he's definitely got himself into a better decision into the mid-game here, as there's now no 4th base for Elazer, and Dark has map control with these mutas. You can both harass and kill workers, or you can go out and try to attack roaches that are going to be on the middle of the map. So Elazer's really been painted into a corner here.
Yeah, it's really funny, right? Because Elazer has been up 30-40 supply, so a lot of people might be confused. It's like, why are we praising Dark so much? What's so good about Dark's position? It's not necessarily that it's that great right now. We just know how good Dark is, and we know that it's going to be great 2-3 minutes from now, because Elazer is stuck with all these units, and I just don't think he can do much with it.
Yeah, and it's not hard to imagine that Dark is going to be able to maneuver this game pretty cleanly to a victory, but I do like the idea of the Broad Roaches coming out here. And actually, he's going to try to come in here and maybe get a denial, taking out a few of these drones. If he could get that hatchery, that would be pretty huge.
Yeah, but he would lose a lot of roaches in the process, so I don't actually mind Elazer not going for it. Elazer is also just bringing the mutas back home, right, which allows him to get some anti-air out. Like, I don't hate what Elazer is doing, but that moment that maybe looked like a minor moment, it was like, oh, 4th base, Lings surrounded, Lings get a cancel or a kill, actually it was. It's like, oh, that's nice for Dark. No, that actually changes everything, because if Elazer would have just had that 4-base setup with the economy that he had, I actually think Elazer would have been totally fine in this game, but losing that hatch was massive.
We have more and more Hydras coming out. Now, the Hydras can pretty directly address the Mutalisks if it comes down to a straight-up fight. But again, with Mutas, you can always just try to attack somewhere else where the Hydras are not. But it does appear that Elazer is going to try to bank up for a big battering ram attack that's going to come across the map down towards the bottom right, while Dark is still continuing to mass up a lot of Lings and a lot of Mutas.
I actually really like what Elazer is doing with these minor Roach hit squads,
Yeah.
though. He's getting a couple of drone kills here and there, still hurting in the Dark's economy a little bit, because 66 drones is not the dream if you want to be a 4-base Zerg. So I actually like a lot of things that Elazer is doing, and yes, Elazer maybe eventually wants to attack, but he's also getting a hive, Tasteless. He's going to be able to get lurkers out a lot quicker. He already has the lurker den, and don't forget about I won't say Infestors. Well, Infestors would be good, but I was thinking about the Vipers, actually. 1 or 2 parasitic bombs on all those Mutas, and hey, what are you going to do with all those Mutalisks?
Yeah, that's a very good way to completely punish somebody who's invested this much into Mutalisks. I mean, that's a really serious death ball that's moving across the map.
This is the most interesting moment. Can the Mutas actually pick up these queens?
Oh!
2 queens go down immediately. 3, 4 queens, maybe? Okay, this is actually a painful moment, right? Because I don't think the Hydra count is that high yet. This would be the ideal moment for Dark to apply even more pressure. Well, he has no bailing speed.
Oh, yeah, look at that. That's awkward to see this late in the game. But you can see what Dark is also trying to do is just spread out onto the map as much as possible. Since there's not enough Hydras to attack across the map just yet, that bailing attack did not work out. The Lurkers were there to shut that down pretty easily.
But I'm starting to get really worried here, though. Where is the end here? I mean, a couple of Mutas... Actually, I think the Mutas can fight those Hydras.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
no,
they can.
Yeah, this is almost, I think it's more Mutas than Hydras at this point in time. So this is a very easy fight. And I feel like Elazer, a player that had an advantage in the first third of this game, has now really given up any opportunities for a realistic comeback if he keeps playing the way he is and Darkus is playing as well as Dark is.
I mean, the timing there by Dark was absolutely perfect. I kind of like this counterattack by Elazer because he needs to buy some time, but he's losing more and more expensive units. That's his only Viper, by the way. That's going to get picked off before a single parasitic bomb is casted. And GG, Dark was down in supply almost the entirety of this game, and he still took it.
You know,